Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Banished with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome to our glorious farmland. In today's episode, at long last, we're going to be trying to create bread. Not exactly the most grand of plans and schemes, but honestly it is something that I really want to start trying to do. In addition to this, we're going to start putting a few plans together for moving south and to the east, and finally claiming this last bit of territory. In addition to actually sorting out some food issues, which hopefully will be fixed with the whole bread thing. So what do we need to make bread? Well, obviously we're going to need grains, and then we're going to need to create some flour. That's our first hurdle. The second hurdle, of course, is the bakeries. But I've got a better idea for the bakeries, and that's in here. With the modular building, you can actually put down a bakery first, and then have two levels of house on top of it. Meaning we could literally have a baking village, which I think sounds really cool. But for now, let's go ahead and plop down the first windmill. Plop. There we go. So it needs linen, which is the problem. What are we producing? We're producing cotton, which means we need to actually move to flax. I have set up an order for some flax seeds, so as soon as they come by, we'll get some flax together, and hopefully next winter we will be able to fully create the large windmill. In addition to that, getting flax means we could actually start producing different kinds of clothing. Actually no, I'm thinking the one, it might be silk, not flax. Now I've said that, let me have a quick look-see, so at least I'm not going insane. Yeah, it's silk plus linen, as I'm thinking of. Yeah, we'd still need silk, which is not the easiest thing to get, honestly, not something I'm really aiming for, so let's ignore that, and let's carry on. There is linen in the wool. Linen in the wool's pretty cool. That's the full suit. We can start making full suits for our people. Everyone will be suited. Okay, back in a second when hopefully we get some flax seeds. Really odd side note, but wheat really hurts my eyes when I'm looking at it. Something about the pattern they've made wheat actually have in its little, almost 3D boxy shape really plays havoc with my eyes when I'm looking at the screen. That's actually quite disturbing. Also, I did forget to mention that we now have a ridiculous amount of lamp oil, and I have started setting up some automatic trades for both coal and for logs. I'm also going to start moving into tools as well. As you can see, our tools are quite low at the moment, not in danger levels, but I have set up 2 new blacksmiths just before I started recording, which should be saving the day. Please have flax. Amazingly, that boat did have flax, and even more amazingly, it wasn't actually the boat I ordered it from, meaning that I got the regular price of 5,000 rather than 7,000 or something, which would have been the tax for ordering it. Now, I just want to check one thing. Did we end up buying the apple seeds? I don't think we did we? Nope. Okay, in that case, I'll also buy the apple seeds, so that in the future, if we do keep these orchards, I can actually make something other than just cherries all the darn time, which would be very, very nice. Yay for llama wool constantly giving us goods. Trade that, and you are dismissed. So next season, one of these will have to be changed over to flax. We actually have loads of cotton, I believe, currently stockpiled, so we could just swap that for a non-permanent solution. Let's have a quick look-see. How much cotton do we currently have? We have, oh my lord, 52,000 cotton. Why do I even have that producing that? Yep, next season, it will be changed into flax. Which it should... That shouldn't affect this right now, though, should it? No, excellent. It'll just continue as it was. So, back in a second when a season has came and gone. Now this is a really nice turn of events. This lovely trader here has actually came by selling linen, exactly 20, which is the exact amount we need. So we've just purchased it for a slight overprice because we simply had no way around that, and let's have a quick look, see if he's got anything else we have of interest. No, we've actually got a load of building supplies at the moment, so you know what, I'm going to go ahead and buy 2,000 grapefruit because I can. So back in a second, hopefully, once the windmill is finished. There we go, we have the large windmill, which actually looks really impressive. I will say this is probably one of the best looking buildings from a mod I've seen so far. It's not really impressive in any technical stance, but it just looks so nice, so rustic and simple and clean. It's just a really nice building in general. And I've just realised this will be the first year we're actually getting cherries, so hurrah for that. That'll vastly increase our food, well, our food, what's the word here? Our food income, our food gain per year, so that's pretty darn cool. We don't have any wheat yet. We should have some wheat. Did we eat all the wheat last season? Wow, we must have. We had literally just harvested our first ever wheat harvest, and by the looks of it, we may have ate all of the wheat already. We have very hungry people. Very hungry people indeed. Yeah, wheat is at 0. That is actually astonishing. So we're going to have to wait until autumn, I think. Yeah, autumn, early autumn, for the first harvest before we can actually see the results of this. So let's swap you over anyway while we wait to linen, so we can try and make another one, and we'll have a couple of windmills just to ensure we can get all of the flour sorted. So where were they? They were in food refining. We also have these small windmills, which are far slower at their job. Actually, let's read it. A small windmill makes flour from grain. Flour is not edible and can either go to a bakery for preparing as food or traded. I'll actually have to look at that and have a look at the trade value. This windmill is slower to produce flour than the large windmill, as you might imagine, but it is significantly smaller. Okay, let's put it like there, because otherwise it makes no darn sense. So let's have 2 of them, and let's see how that goes. We'll also actually build one of the bakeries I was talking about, which could... Oh, it would be so cool if it could fit in between these. I don't think it will, but if it can, that'll be fantastic. So the bakery, and no! Okay, what I'm going to do then, I'm going to delete that, because this is how I want this, because it just is. Urban bakery, there we go, I want that. There, then next to it we'll put the second windmill. And we'll keep on doing that pattern until we simply can't anymore, which probably means one more bakery and that's it actually, and then we can have the exact same on the opposite side. There's a good chance this orchard's going to be destroyed in the process, and we'll just keep this orchard over there. I don't know just yet. Onwards into the future once more. Well, there we have it. The windmill has made its first ever batch of flour for the glorious city of Lathsburg. So it seems that 20 wheat becomes around about 14 flour. Although I'm not sure if that's always the case, so I'm going to kind of keep an eye on it. We currently have 20 wheat in stock, there we go, and yep, it seems to turn 20 into 40 every single time. So let's have a quick check then, just how much that's actually worth. And I will actually buy some food here, because honestly, we are so ridiculously high on lamp oil, there's absolutely no point not to. Let's go with 500 lamp oil, that seems good, particularly since look how much we can buy with that. That's absolutely astonishing. So let's go ahead and buy all of this. Then we'll quickly check how much flour is worth, and if it's possibly worth selling rather than making into bread. Although I really doubt that's going to be the case. It would still be nice to figure that out. Look at all the fruits we're going to have. This is really good. It really does seem like lamp oil might be worth it just because of the amount of food you could possibly create from trading and such. So there we go, trade all that. From now on, I will actually keep this on auto purchase. Fruits, vegetables, and stuff like that. Let's have it on, not as huge as what I've just bought, but let's have it about 3,000 on each for future trades. So of actually doing something with the lamp oil, because I am guilty of simply having these trading posts stocked, and then simply nothing happens. So when it arrives, nothing we really want to specifically order, so dismiss. Okay then, let's put one of the flour into the inventory, and see how much it's worth. There we go. Flour is only worth 1, so no, essentially, flour is not worth trading because it's turning something worth 1 into something worth 1, but less of it. Okay, so next then we want to see how much... Well, honestly, I don't know how I really hope that the flour will become multiple bread, so essentially you're turning food into more food via the process, rather than just making a different food type, which is still pretty darn good, because it will help to increase health and happiness, but even so, why are you unhappy? Miner, why do I have an extra miner? Has one of the mines finished? Yep, that one there. So let's upgrade that one, and until then, put one of the miners back into the labourer force. We have so many spare people right now, it's ridiculous, so we need to actually get some extra jobs being created. We have a wharf and ship being made here, we have loads of hunting blinds. I've really changed my mind about how effective these things are, because they're kind of random how much meat you actually get per season. Some seasons you get nothing, some you get 200, some you get 400, and I've seen a few times 600, although this seems to be incredibly rare. So it's kind of a try your luck kind of thing. But actually, that's surprisingly good. It's not as bad as I thought it was, because if you look at things like the tidal pools, that's not much more than 200 itself. So the seasons in which you get 400 or higher, the hunting blinds are actually fantastic for a single person, and because they're so small, you can put, like this here, 5 in this tiny little space. So I think in the future, adding some more spaces for these would be better, like I mentioned earlier. It's just, I've kind of came to a conclusion now that it's definitely better to have some more of these going forward, particularly with our population currently exploding. Okay, let's wait until our little urban bakery is finished, and actually what we're going to do is we're going to add a regular bakery to see if there is any difference, particularly since this space at the moment, well, there's not really enough space to actually put the other windmills and stuff here. Well, there is, but it'll look terrible. So until we decide, are we going to keep the orchard or not, let's have a bakery here too. Hello, okay, so we have something called hardtack bread, something I've never really heard about before. We have normal bread, cheese bread, nut bread, fruit cake, and sugar cookies. Well, I'm happy to see there is a massive variation of things they can actually create. So we have the resources, I believe, for regular bread, cheese bread, and hardtack bread. The big thing with cheese bread, of course, and normal bread, having the additional food type being needed kind of negates the additional food being created. So I'm really hoping that the hardtack bread has some value when being made. So let's put that up to 1, let's have someone work there and see how that does. Let's have a quick look if we do actually have butter and cheese. We should do, of course, because we have the dairy, which does create butter and cheese. Okay, yeah, so we definitely have that in stock then. So, just need to wait until a baker comes by and makes some food, and then we'll be very careful to watch how much of the flour becomes how much of this type of bread. Really hoping it makes extra food. I'm not too hopeful, really. This game doesn't seem to like to give you freebies like that, but it would be nice. Ooh, olives. Now, olives would actually be really good. Of course, this is the trading post, which is dealing with all the extra tobacco we're creating, so I would like the lettuce seeds, and I would like the olive seeds as well. So just trade for the raw tobacco we have, and there we go. Goodbye, sir. Thank you very much for standing by, and there we go. We don't need anything from you. Where is our worker? Why are you all the way over here? Okay, seems we might need to wait a little bit longer. So, while that's doing that, let's have a look at the module building status, because the whole point of this one over the regular bakery is that this one can actually be built on top of, which is fantastic. Have the urban house here like this. Oh, we built it too close to the other. Of course we did. Okay, that's a problem. Yeah, we built this far too close to the windmill. I forgot that the house actually extends sideways, which means we can't actually build the house on top. That's fine, because we have this little baker's area here, and we can check the efficiency of the urban bakery to the regular bakery, especially considering this is much smaller. Okay, we have 42 flour. Will that become... Apparently it made wheat. That's interesting. I love it when that just pops up, something weird like that. 42. Oh, okay, it went down by 5 and made 20 food. Really? That's pretty good. So this uses 20 to make 14, if I was correct. That 14 then makes... No, that 14 doesn't make 20. Then a ridiculously small amount makes this. Then 3... Okay, so let's watch that again. Just to make sure I've got the numbers right. I mean, honestly, by the looks of it, that was actually really good, though, because making 20 from such a small amount, you know, under 10, that's definitely a net gain on the amount of food we're getting. Okay, there we go again. So now we're down to 32, and we made that. Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. So 5 for 20. Yeah, that's... Without doing any math, trying to figure out how much wheat becomes how much bread, we're definitely gaining on food doing this, which is really, really good, because it means it makes, well, the farms far more efficient, because of course you can actually just eat wheat raw in this game, which is kind of weird, but, you know, it's fine, you don't need to cook it or anything, just raw wheat. Well, I guess perhaps the houses are cooking it, but not making bread. Okay, I mean, what I need to check next then is the regular bread or cheese bread to see if there's any bonus, you know, using the additional resource. It would probably be good because that means we wouldn't need as much wheat, even if it's the same efficiency. And perhaps it lowers the amount of wheat used and then substitutes that for the butter. It would then still be good there. A sailor was keel-hauled for mutiny. I love that that happens. It's such a cool, silly thing. Okay, yeah, so bakeries seem like a really good idea, but it does seem like you make a lot more flour in one windmill than the bakeries can actually use. So it's more than a 1-to-1 ratio. You definitely need more bakeries than you need the windmills, but of course you only have one baker and you do have 2 people working in the windmill. There we go, so that does make sense as well. Okay, that's really cool. I also like the fact you can use other things, well, you don't need to use wheat, you can use corn or barley. So what I think I'll do is make a couple more bakeries, and we'll probably turn some more fields into crop fields, because again, there's the big thing with this, look how compact this can be for the extra food production. This doesn't need to be huge, this can be kind of in the corners of the map where I can't really grow efficient fields, like over here. And also, of course, with the urban bakeries, they have the bonus of being able to have houses on top of them, which is absolutely fantastic, because it means why do you need houses? Although, of course, these are far larger, but you do get the 2-story houses, both stories acting as an individual house. So that's pretty darn cool. So, yeah, I think this orchard is probably going to be removed. We're probably going to make a extra crop field, a small one, and then all of these windmills around there and some of the urban bakeries. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so that's what we'll do, but we'll wait until after September so we get the yield, so we get all the food, and then that's what we'll do and make our little bread making area. So it turns out the regular bakery is just as efficient at turning the flour into the hardtack bread. So as a test, we are now making the urban bakery create regular bread, which of course is flour and butter. I also love that every time I start the simulation, the game drops from 60 FPS to around about 30 now, so I have to record while paused all the time. It's a really surreal experience watching everything suddenly freeze all the time. But to do this, anyway, I've had to make some more dairies. The reason is we have almost no butter in stock at any given time, because of course houses try to stock as many food types as possible from their nearby markets and from their nearby storage. The problem is we have one dairy supplying the entire city. The entire village of Lasberg is being supplied by a single dairy, which means we almost never have any of these stockpiled. So it's going to be a little while before we can actually have this sorted. Someone is encased in glass. He should be quite well preserved, provides he withstands the process. Oh dear, our glass maker has perished. Oh, hello. Okay, so we have 5 butter in there currently. Will this be enough to actually make regular bread? Well, it'd be nice if it was, but something tells me it won't be. Well, no. Oh no, she's working inside there. No, 5 is not enough. Okay, so it does take a fair bit more butter for the regular bread, which is a shame, but as soon as she actually gets enough, we'll be right back to check that. And now it's no longer autumn, we can start demolishing this orchard, which is a shame, because honestly that orchard was providing a ridiculous amount of food. But I want this to have a bit more, you know, a bit more flavour, so having the cornfields and all the windmills and everything just seems more villagey, and it actually gives a purpose to this area of the map again. So after rechecking the numbers just to make sure I was actually reading it all correctly, it definitely seems like the hardtack bread is the far more efficient of the two types of bread we've currently tested. So I will continue to make that, as we are really going almost purely for amount of food produced rather than any form of quality or happiness or food variety here. We just want to make our little fields a little bit more efficient. Now, if that's actually worth it over simply, I don't know, making more fields, that's very arguable, but I do like the idea of having them nonetheless. We're also going to start making some very small food markets here and a bit of storage, just so these poor bakers don't have to run around constantly to figure out where to put their food. We're actually not short on food at all at the moment, but I think that's mostly because this orchard, which we just cut down, had a massive yield that year, so we will have to be a little bit careful at keeping an eye on that. So, with that, I think I'm actually going to end the episode here, almost purely so I can say, I just did a video completely on bread science. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Banished is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you again for watching, and goodbye.